give us a sense of what the markets were expecting. The fact that that Theresa May does not need to consult Scotland is actually quite significant.
Yeah, absolutely, Francine. I've got the judgment here. This is the judgment handed down by the Supreme Court at 9:30 UK time, so 40 minutes or so ago. We heard from Justice Neuberger, who's the president of the Supreme Court, leading the 11 judges. They found on a ratio of 8-3, there had to be an odd number of judges, so there couldn't be a tie, 8-3, finding that this does need to go to Parliament. So Parliament does need to have its say here. But, as you point out, Francine, it doesn't need to have the explicit consultation of the devolved administrations in Edinburgh and other parts of the UK. And that's important because that could have led to a whole constitutional crisis in the UK. So to some extent, markets are, as you say, back to where they thought this was going to go, which was that the government has lost its appeal, and this goes to Parliament.
Yeah. Anna, what does this actually mean? I mean, it's unlikely that it will derail Brexit, but it just may take a little bit longer for Article 50 to be triggered.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it becomes a number counting game. So there are 650 seats in the Houses of Parliament. The Conservative Party has 329 of them. Can they rely on all of those MPs to vote with the government? Well, probably most of them. And even of the other parties, many of whom were for Remain originally, many of them have come round to backing Brexit because they don't want to be seen as enemies of the people. So this isn't seen as something that's going to stop Brexit, but it is something that could delay it. We spoke to an MP in the last hour who said a bill could be passed very, very quickly, but that's not everybody's view. Even Jeremy Corbyn, leader of the Labour Party, is now saying they will seek amendments. Various parties in Parliament will seek amendments to this bill, and that's what's going to take time. There will be decision-making on how many amendments and for how long they'll be debated, and that's what will give us clues as to when we could finally see Article 50 triggered.
Anna, help me here in our global audience with the power of the Prime Minister. Is her power diminished with this ruling?
Well, the government, we heard from a government spokesman a little bit earlier on saying that the government is obviously disappointed, but they're pleased to live in a country that even the government is subject to the rule of law. And that is the view that they have taken this morning. They'll now concentrate on enacting what has been handed down by the judge today. Her power has not been diminished in the sense that at least she doesn't have to ask for the devolved government's approval in what she's trying to do here. If we had entered into a situation where Edinburgh had an effective veto over what London is trying to raise constitutional questions and reduce her power. Here, she has to admit that she has lost this appeal. She was arguing she had some kind of prerogative power from the days where we used to have the Crown deciding these things. She doesn't have that, according to these 8-3 judges.